Morning, guys.
Now that it's over, and you look back, obviously the aggressiveness that you guys attacked with early, seemed to play its way out very, very well. When you look at it, it must be pretty thrilled as to how a plan gets executed and winds up being successful, right?
Yeah, definitely thrilled for the players, and they made the plays. Sometimes football is really a simple game, and I just give all the credit to the staff and the players for doing a heck of a job and making the plays when they mattered, and just excited for them and the performance that they had on Saturday. Still got a lot of things to clean up, a lot of things to improve on. I think we'll probably say that every week, but it's the truth. There's still plays out there that we could have made or should have made, calls that we would like back, and we want to make sure that our last play of the season is our best play, and so we're constantly trying to improve and get better, and that's no different this week. I thought we had a good week of prep. A lot of the plays that were made Saturday, we made them in practice, and so we're going to need that. This conference is unforgiving, and you have to be ready to bring it every single week as a staff and as a player. And this will be a big challenge for us this week, and we got to be ready to go.
Yeah, Coach, what progress have you seen from the offensive line week 1 to week 3, and what did you see maybe in particular from Dylan Powell also filling in for Kadick at left guard?
Well, I think they're coached extremely well and hard, and because of that, their willingness to be coached hard and well has allowed them to improve. And certainly we felt like they played their best game. They played a lot of snaps, and they played with great effort and toughness. It was not perfect. There are things to improve on. There's things that we did not handle well in the game that I know Coach Hiller will get corrected and continue to work and emphasize with those guys. That's probably been to no fault of anybody. I don't know if I was mentioning this to you guys last week or maybe the broadcasters for the game is, we were trying to find ways to teach run blocking schemes while keeping our guards and tackles 6 feet apart. It just has taken some time. And the time on task, the working together, the communication, the body presence of one another. You can't play offensive line individually. You have to play it collectively. 5 guys have to be working together and seeing the game the same way. And that just takes time. And I don't know, for other programs or, what their circumstances have been. I just know for our guys, they're continuing to get better because they're extremely well coached and they've had a willingness to work. And so they've made progress. And we need them to continue to do that because we feel that we have an opportunity to have a very good offensive line. And we just need to continue to work to prove that. There are times where it looks really good, just like other positions, and there are times where we need to get better at it. So they've been great, and they've allowed us to coach them hard, which we have, and they responded. So it's been great.
Hey, Coach, excuse me, kind of piggybacking off of that question. You guys' last scoring drive, I know it was a short field, but you go about 30 yards, and Michael doesn't complete a pass. The O-line does the job, you guys run it in, and then after they get the pick from Monster, you guys run out 5 minutes of the clock just by running it. Michigan knew what you're going to do. Just how pleased were you with, I know there's things to improve on, but to see them close that out and really kind of control the line of scrimmage those last 2 drives?
I was very pleased. The number one pillar of our program is toughness, and I think a measure of that for any football team is your ability to run the ball when you have to. And conversely, on defense, it's stop the run when you have to. And in those situations, everybody knows what we're trying to do, and it's a cumulative effect. When you play a football game, you're trying to wear your opponent down, but it doesn't happen on the first play of the game. You have to be relentless in your physicality, your toughness, your effort, and you're hopeful that those sacrifices you make early in the game and the strain and the toughness and the effort that you display early in the game puts you in a position to finish the game. And I was proud of those guys. Coach has already mentioned, last week was one of our tougher, more physical practices that we've had since I've been here. And I think to a man, all starting 5 offensive linemen were upset with me after Wednesday's practice. But they all thanked me and the staff and Coach Hiller and Coach Allen because it was worth it. You know, we were pushing them, and we just have high expectations for that group. And, you know, it starts with their position coach because he believes in them just like we do, that they can be great. And so their toughness and their effort and their physicality, collectively, tight ends included, the running backs ran hard. Stevie and Sampson are heavy runners. I mean, they wear you down as the game goes on. They become harder and harder to tackle. But, you know, the emphasis is that you can't do it in the first play of the game. You got to do it over time. And I was proud of the guys, and we got to do it again. You know, we haven't gained a yard or scored a point this week, so we're gonna, you know, we'll be coaching them hard tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday leading up to the game, and we're hopeful that it prepares them for the physicality and toughness that that Michigan State will bring on Saturday.
I'm sorry, this is probably one of those asking you to give away the playbook a little bit, but there was just a lot of extra pre-snap motion, I guess, on Saturday. I don't know how much of that was maybe by design because it was Michigan, or how much of that is something you're looking to kind of add to this offense as time goes on. But what can that bring, especially when you've got a guy like Wap, a guy like David Ellis, if he can get healthy, maybe even bringing, you know, a guy like Peyton Hendershot, who I know was in the screen game a lot last year, kind of new wrinkles into this offense.
Yeah, we're constantly looking for ways to be creative and try to get our playmakers the ball. You know, I keep mentioning this. You know, it's just been an unusual year. You know, some of your normal installations or some of your wrinkles that you may have, you know, you progress to them as you see fit. You know, the execution is still the focus. You want to make sure that our guys understand what we're doing and can do it at full speed. And you need reps at that. You need time on task. So some of the wrinkles or things that might have been slightly different, sometimes it's catered towards your opponent, you know, what you're seeing in your film preparation and in your weekly prep that you feel like might give your players an advantage. And, you know, there's things that we practice that we just, you know, I think of it as being game ready or not. You know, we've worked on it in practice, but we haven't executed it maybe to the level that we would feel comfortable to call it in a game. So you keep practicing it, you know, and you know that there's going to be a time where you're going to need it. It might be in the game plan, but maybe it's down your list of things to call just because you don't know if the players have full confidence in it just yet. So that's a never-ending process, especially situationally, red area, third downs, 2-minute, 4-minute, you know, where you might have some wrinkles, some things that are specific to those situations. You keep working on them until you feel comfortable that, you know, the players can execute them in the game. So we'll always look to try to find ways to put our players in the best positions to be successful and ultimately give them the confidence that they can play fast and execute.
Good afternoon, Coach. I have two questions. The first one, Michigan jumped off sides, it seemed like a million times on Saturday. Was that something you saw on tape, or was that something you saw during the game and communicated with Mike to keep doing what he was doing to help draw flags? And then the second question is, third down, you guys came in, I believe, 6 of 23 on third downs. Left the game 9 of 18, but 9 of 17, really. What contributed to that success on third down this week compared to the first few weeks?
Yeah, I think to answer your first question, I mean, there are certain advantages you have as an offense, and a snap count is one of them. I think that's just base football. You know, the benefit that we have on offense is that we know where we're going and when we're going there. You know, that's just it's just the rules of football, you know. So we try to use that to our advantage, especially when you're dealing with an aggressive and attacking defense. You have to try to help your front out and trying to slow those guys down best you can. It doesn't always work out the way it did Saturday. We recognize that. Sometimes there's merit to doing things even if they don't, you know, we certainly don't expect, you know, teams to jump off sides like that. I mean, it was, you know, certainly a benefit for us. But just the change in tempo, the change in cadence, the change in the way you operate, I think, is an advantage for any offense. And so we just felt that was something to our benefit, and it worked well that day. And then as far as the third downs, I thought we were efficient on second down, which allowed us to to get in a few more manageable third down situations. We were in, I think, versus Rutgers, which we were not very good on third down. We might have been in 7 or more 8 of the 10 times. Had a lot more 3rd and 6 or lesses on Saturday. We were 2 for 2 on 4th down. So even on some of the third down conversions, we anticipated being able to go for it on 4th down. So that sometimes alters your call. But the kids executed. They did a nice job. I thought we blocked them better. I thought we, threw and caught better. I thought, the staff with Mike and Darren and Kev and Grant put together a great third down plan, and the kids executed it. So it was a point of emphasis. We had not been good prior to Saturday. Some of that was our first and second down efficiency. That puts you in some tough spots against good people. But the kids did a nice job, and it was a factor in the game. It helped us sustain some drives and stay on the field.
Not to make too much of one play, but Ty Fryfogle's first swing pass that he had a big gainer on. Stevie Scott picked up a corner blitz and kind of wiped the guy out.
Yeah.
Talking about Stevie as a pass protector, how much is that an evolution, or how much is that just how good he is? Has he always been good at that phase, I guess, is that something that impressed you about him?
Yeah, I think when you're talking about pass protection, I had a coach tell me this one time, there's a couple factors. Number one is you have to know who to block, okay, and that's coaching, and that's, credit goes to Coach Hart. You have to know who to block. Number two is you have to know how to block, and that's also coaching, the technique that's required to do the job. And then the last thing, and this is where Stevie gets credit, is you have to want to block, and he does, and he's as good as I've ever been around in pass protection, and he does it in practice. And I think that's when you talk about becoming a complete back. There's good runners out there, guys that can carry the football, make guys miss, and get yards rushing the football. There's guys that, in addition to that, have the ability to receive the ball. They can catch the ball out of the backfield. That's an element to playing running back. And then, obviously, the blitz pickup, the pass protection. And if you can do all those three things, you make it difficult to defend, because when you start to get super specific on what each back is asked to do, then the defense can key in on that. They know when you put this guy in the game, it's a run, or this guy, it's a pass, etc. So Stevie's been excellent. He's very well coached, and he has improved. I don't think any high school kid comes in understanding, pass protection to the level that's required, at this in college football. They just it's just not required. There's just a lot more protections, different variations of protections, because you're going up against good defenses and good defensive coordinators that know how to beat your protection. So you better have some answers and some adjustments and some variance in how you are protecting the quarterback, and the backs are a large part of that, and he's been fantastic.
Hey, Coach, Ty Fryfogle really stepped up, had a really nice game on Saturday. How has he turned into such an elite receiver for you guys?
Well, not to, he's been coached well. We had a unit meeting this morning, and we talked about that. There's a lot of guys that are in our room that maybe, quote unquote, weren't the highest ranked or highest recruited kids. But we believed in them, and probably even, more so, they believed in us. And because of that combination of things, it has allowed for improvement. It's an environment to get developed and get coached and improve. And there's no doubt that Ty Fryfogle has been he's benefited from being in our program. He deserves the most credit because he's worked hard. And he has improved. He's changed his body. He's become stronger, faster, more explosive. And then he's been coached well. Grant Hurd deserves a lot of credit for his development. Those two guys, I don't think there's any doubt that Ty Fryfogle is a better player now than when he first got here. Not that he was a bad player when he got here, but he's definitely been, to his credit, he's busted his tail, and then to his position coach's credit, he's been developed. So I give both of those guys a ton of credit. Ty's made a lot of big catches in his career, and we're going to need that. He's one of our best receivers, and he needs to continue to do that, and we need to continue to give him opportunities, because it impacts the game in a big way. When you hit those explosive plays, it gives your whole team life and energy, and he's capable of that. He's done it in practice, and he's had big moments in his career, and we need him to continue to do that. Thanks, guys.